You suddenly realize you can hear your fiancé's inner thoughts. When everyone assumes this gifted daughter had her foundation destroyed overnight and became a cripple, only you know she has returned after reincarnation and willingly dispersed her cultivation so she can become an empress in this lifetime. Moreover, you also hear that your family will soon be wiped out by some powerful figure, and in the end, you alone will survive, but with your foundation ruined, left disabled for life. But these truths, no one else knows. They all believe that since the Lin family prodigy has become a cripple, then Lin Shiying is certainly no match for you, the Chun family young master. Even in the clan, when the Grand Elder learns the news, his first move is to bring you to the Lin family. Grand Elder appears to visit Lin family for pleasantries, showing care for the younger generation. But in reality, once he confirms Lin Shiying's condition, the Grand Elder is sure to break off the engagement with the Lin family immediately. Just after the Grand Elder examined Lin Shiying's injuries, his brows are tightly furrowed. He remarks that Lin Jiao has this strange illness. It's the first time I've seen such a cultivation in my lifetime. Her foundation is completely ruined. There is no chance for repair at all. It seems even Uncle Chan is helpless in this matter. Upon hearing this, Lin Shiying's pale face becomes even gloomier. When she speaks, even her voice can't hide her weakness. If not for your ability to clearly hear her true thoughts, you'd surely be fooled by her pitiful appearance. Right at that moment, her inner voice comes through faintly. You old man, haven't even touched the threshold of the human king realm. How could you understand the means I used for the righteous emperor? The heaven-defying methods I performed? Hearing this inner voice, you immediately decide you must stick close to this fiancé. After all, you must realize your own Grand Elder in the vast Eastern Zhou territory is considered one of the top experts, but in her mind, he's become so insignificant, having only been transmigrated for 2.5 days, and still unable to awaken your system. This person in front of you is definitely your #1 support right now. Grand Elder, though facing Lin Shiying, forces a slight smile. Yet, in his words, there's a faint trace of anger hard to notice. Lin, just rest and recover for a while. As for marriage, since it's a lifelong matter, look at your current condition. I'm afraid much consideration is needed. Before he finishes his words, you suddenly rush forward, cutting him off. Loudly declare, this marriage should be arranged as soon as possible, so we don't let anything unexpected happen. No strange events arise. As soon as you say this, everyone present is instantly stunned, their faces filled with disbelief. The whole Lin family is utterly shocked. The Chan family arrives so ostentatiously, yet not to break off the engagement. This really goes against common sense. Grand Elder is completely disoriented now, secretly cursing this useless kid. Must have been bewitched by Lin Shiying's looks. Utterly captivated. This is just pathetic. Thinking this, he turns to glare at you, his eyes full of disappointment, with a look that's all about frustration. How could such an important family matter be treated like a child's game? We came here to break off the engagement, not for you to propose. But deep down you know, it's definitely not because you covet Lin Shiying's beauty. Though she is truly stunning, the most important thing is the inner voice you just heard, the omen that the Chan family is about to face disaster soon. Since this ability to hear thoughts obviously has a range limit, no matter what, you must bring Lin Shiying back to the Chan mansion first. Only then can you learn more about the real reason for the family's downfall. First, find a way to survive this upcoming life or death crisis. So you turn to look at Lin Shiying. I don't know why. I feel a strange sense of familiarity with Miss Lin, as if we should have met much earlier. I wonder if Miss Lin would do me the honor. Join me for a tour, to fully appreciate the beautiful scenery of East Sea County. On hearing this, Lin Shiying can't help but feel confused. This handsome young man before her, what's his deal? Thinking back to her previous life, she had never really tried to understand him. Perhaps he truly is different from those ordinary people, and cares about more than talent or appearance. Somehow, Lin Shiying actually starts to feel a little fondness for you. After all, living a second life, this is the first time she's met someone so pure-hearted. She suddenly feels a hint of admiration for you. But my future is destined for the imperial throne. In the last life, countless gifted champions. Barely caught my eye. How could I truly marry? Or wed you now? This heartfelt thought enters your ears again. You silently grumble, I'm a transmigrator. You're reincarnated. We're equally matched? Neither of us is inferior. But you say aloud, even if Miss Lin doesn't think highly of me, having a period of companionship would still be wonderful. Hearing this, Grand Elder is so angry he wants to slap you. You are at least a Chen family, once in a millennium genius. That kind of submissive attitude is a disgrace to the Chun family. But Lin Shiying is slightly surprised by your words. She thinks this boy is clearly talented, so well-mannered and educated, without a hint of arrogance. If he were from another clan, their prodigies would already be full of pride, and act superior. Looks like in her past life she never really cared to learn about this young man whose family would ultimately be destroyed. Since that's the case, traveling with him wouldn't be so bad. Besides, the Chen family seems to possess a treasure even top experts covet. Going with the flow and visiting the Chen family might not be a bad thing. Lin Shiying's inner thoughts, once again, reveal a crucial message. Turns out, the Chen family has something even mighty cultivators desire. Could this be the root of the family's destruction? You silently keep this in mind. Right now, besides the Lin family still being confused, Grand Elder has already suppressed his anger.
He's decided.
He'll vent all his fury on your dad back home. As the saying goes, if the child fails, it's the father's fault. If I can't discipline my grandson, I can surely deal with my own son. At this moment, after some consideration, Lin Shiying gladly accepted your invitation. She said directly that since young Master Chen was so enthusiastic, then it would be impolite for her to refuse. The Grand Elder was furious at the sight. The armrest of his chair was instantly shattered into dust by the energy he released. All you could do was secretly worry for your father. But on second thought, everything you were doing was for the sake of saving the Shan family from disaster. Thinking about it, your father would surely understand your good intentions, even though he couldn't figure out what exactly the Chun family was planning. The Lin family patriarch still wore a bright smile on his face, praising nephew, you truly have refined taste. As an elder, I certainly shouldn't be too stingy. Since you plan to travel and enjoy the scenery, I will gift you a steed that can run 1,000 miles. Back in the day, this horse followed me into battle for 10 years. Traveling 100,000 miles a month was an easy feat for it. Thank you, Uncle Lin, for your kindness. There's no time to lose. Why don't we set out today? While talking, you completely ignored any opinion the Grand Elder might have had, and directly called out to the Grand Elder, we will take our leave first. You can stay here and chat at your leisure. Actually, the timing of their departure didn't matter at all to Lin Shiying. His parents had long since passed away, and during these bleak days with his powers lost, he had already seen through the warmth and coldness of the world, feeling no sense of belonging to this family anymore. He thought that leaving the island with you as soon as possible would be a good thing. Even the sisters from before now dared to boss him around, and his ability to recover his cultivation was still far off. At least with Chun Jun in front, things would be more convenient for now. At this moment, his inner voice echoed again, going out like this. Who knows when we'll be back? So it's better to go home with you first, and pay respects to your father and mother.
Hearing this, you said to Lin Shiying,
That actually what you had in mind was to let your father know in advance. Lin Shiying obediently nodded in agreement, expressing willingness to go with you. But deep down, he was actually planning to take the opportunity to investigate what the mysterious powerful figure from his past life was actually searching for in the Shan family. You were well aware of the little scheme your fiancée had in her heart, but you remained calm and composed on the surface, not revealing anything at all. The whole way, you subtly probed with your words, constantly testing for clues about your family's future. Although you couldn't ask directly, as long as Lin Shiying followed your lead and made some associations in that direction, you would be able to listen in and get the information you wanted. Miss Lin, as a young lady from a noble family, I assume you don't often travel far from home. Our Donghai prefecture has beautiful scenery, and rarely do ferocious beasts attack people. In fact, among all the prefectures and states, It's considered one of the safest places. Lin Shiying also felt quite at ease, enjoying the beautiful scenery along the way. She responded to your comment, agreeing that the view was indeed wonderful, but secretly thought to herself that while Donghai Prefecture has never produced a truly fearsome monster, it also hasn't seen any top experts emerge in a long time.
Hearing this,
You suddenly had an epiphany. It seemed the Chun family's destruction wasn't due to a monster's rampage. One more dangerous possibility was crossed off your mental list. Speaking of which, our Donghai Prefecture borders the Kang Sea, so we don't have to worry about war from other empires spilling over and invading. It's truly a rare haven of peace. You then probed Lin Shiying further, making her break out in a slight sweat, and she nodded in agreement with you. At the same time, her inner voice echoed in your ear again. At this very moment, the distant southwestern Shenzhou must already be engulfed in flames of war, caught up in chaos. After hearing this, you decisively ruled out war as the cause of destruction. It was becoming clear that the reason for the Chun family's downfall was not a war between nations.
and so,
The two of you chatted idly along the way, and before you knew it, you had arrived back at the Chun family mansion. Seeing that you actually brought Lin Shiying back, everyone in the Chun residence looked shocked. No one could make sense of the postures of those seated there, and they didn't dare to gossip, but the expressions on your siblings' faces were all as ugly as could be. After all, the future mistress of their family, the wife of the head of the Shao family, was now just a ruined waste. If this got out, the whole Chan family would be shamed. What's more, several illegitimate children qualified to compete for the position of family head were secretly pleased. Dear older brother, just keep attracting trouble. Sooner or later, the grand elder's patience with you will run out. A pair of cold eyes stared at you intently, with a sneer deep down, feeling you were no longer a threat. People so reckless and oblivious. How could they possibly compete with me for the top spot? As one of the most famous 9 clans in the Eastern Zhou region, direct and collateral family members alike, the Shan family had tens of thousands of people. Those secretly coveting the position of family head were as numerous as the fish in the river. Even if you could guess your so-called siblings' dirty thoughts, you couldn't be bothered to pay them any mind. Even tens of thousands of people. So what? If all of Lin Shiying's inner voices you heard were tragedies that truly happened in her previous life, then to a calamity those tens of thousands of lives were nothing but ants. The important thing right now was to find a way to use Lin Shiying's power to see how to survive this family-ending crisis. After Lin Shiying followed you to the parlor, she smiled at you and said she wanted to look around, and asked if it would be convenient for you to allow it. Meanwhile, you heard her inner voice again, that powerful cultivator searched the Chan family thoroughly back then. What exactly was he looking for? You smiled lightly upon hearing this, saying it was no problem. Then you untied the jade pendant that symbolized your identity and handed it to her. With this jade pendant, she could go anywhere in the Chan family without restriction. After all, you were the family genius, and also the eldest son of the main bloodline, so this kind of privilege was only natural. Lin Shiying accepted the token, and on her delicate face, a barely noticeable look of delight flashed by. She thanked you, but was secretly pondering that the previous downfall of the Chun family was partly due to deep generational hatred, and secondly, because that powerful cultivator was also after this treasure. If I can get the treasure before anyone else, that would actually help the Chun family in a different way, which is better than letting it end up in the hands of the one who destroyed your family. At this moment, excitement welled up inside you. You finally found the root cause of the Chun family's annihilation. It turned out to be an age-old feud and a coveted treasure at the root of it all. It seems the Chun family suffered the curse of possessing what others desired, and their old enemies seized the opportunity to target them, which inevitably led to this disastrous annihilation. Just as you were racking your brain on how to deal with this, you heard that bone-chilling voice in your head again, counting the days. That terrifying powerhouse will arrive in just 3 days. 3 days from now. I was completely stunned. Isn't this all happening far too quickly? Just how powerful is this expert? Who exactly are they? And what exactly is the treasure they're seeking? In that very moment, I had the urge to just come right out and ask. But I quickly regained my composure. The corners of my mouth pulled into a stiff smile. After saying farewell to Lin Shiying, I didn't dare waste a single second. I headed straight for my parents' room. From a distance, my father spotted me, and a smile appeared on his face. Ready for a good spanking? Hold on, don't be so quick. Please answer a question for me first. Our Chan family. Which families do we have blood feuds with? Seeing how serious I looked, my father thought for a moment. As one of the 9 great families, of course we have a few enemies. We've never gotten along with the Zhou family. And the Wang family too. That's not what I meant. I mean, is there any family with someone truly formidable? An enemy so terrifyingly strong it's unbelievable. Those families we have issues with could never possibly wipe our Chun family out completely. I know this for a fact. My father stroked his chin. As for anyone special, you'd have to go back to our ancestors' era. But those grudges are from 10,000 years ago.
Hearing this,
A wave of despair surged through my heart. Could it be a legendary master from 10,000 years ago, coming to settle scores with the Chun family? Doesn't that mean we don't stand a chance at all? To survive for 10,000 years, they must be a monster of unimaginable strength, even if they haven't lived that long. The fact that Chun family was so easily massacred in my past life is proof enough of their terror. I've been hoping there might be a way out somehow. But now, it seems this expert is coming specifically for the Chun family. There's simply no escaping it. All I could think of now was running away. I have to convince my parents and the senior elder too. But the problem is, if even someone like the senior elder runs away, would that expert really just let it end there? If it were just a regular vendetta, maybe they'd spare me. But even a nobody like me would be hunted down. What should I do? Am I supposed to hide and survive alone? I honestly couldn't do it. I can't just watch my parents die and feel nothing. My brow furrowed deeply. I closed my eyes, planning to calm down and think everything through. But the very instant I shut my eyes, my whole body suddenly froze. What the hell is this? A strange interface appeared in my mind. I instinctively touched my chin and carefully examined that panel, looking it over several times from top to bottom. Isn't this a system? So I have a system with me too. The joy on my face disappeared in an instant, and I frowned again. Even if I have a system, can this thing really solve my crisis? To level the entire Chun family, the enemy must be at least at the peak of King Realm power. In the entire Eastern Zhou, only King Zhou surpasses the peak of King Realm. Anyone beyond that is basically unheard of, unless this system allows me to break through several major realms at once. Just even thinking about it, the odds feel absolutely minuscule. With a trial mindset, I clicked on the system interface. Name, realm, items, remnant will, attributes. All these features were currently unavailable. Only the Achievements tab was densely packed with countless entries. Looking at it made my head spin. I happened to click on the map interface. A detailed map with me as the center, and a 10-kilometer radius appeared instantly. The map was so detailed. Even the secret passages inside the residence were clearly marked, like the hidden tunnel connecting 4th uncle's and 5th aunt's bedrooms. It turns out there's a secret passage connecting them. Even though 5th aunt is getting up there in age, she takes great care of herself. Her skin is smooth and delicate, and her aura is very striking. 5th uncle passed away a few years back, so I guess it's not that shocking after all. But I'm really not in the mood to worry about any romances right now. I fixed my gaze back on the map, and at the spot where the family cemetery is to the southwest, a name was flashing faintly. Chun Xiu. Isn't that the name of our earliest ancestor? The founder of the Chun family, who's been gone for 10,000 years now. He established the Chun family single-handedly and led it to an era of unprecedented prosperity. Almost without thinking, I reached out and clicked on that name. And in the very next second, a grand boundless power suddenly began to surge wildly. It felt like some primal forces of the world were being forcibly drawn away. Right after that, all that energy began swirling quickly before my very eyes. A cluster of tiny points of light started taking shape. My face was full of shock. The phenomenon unfolding from such vast power was terrifying. But my father standing beside me seemed totally unaware, unable to sense a thing. Then, as I stared with wide eyes, the points of light converged, and a faint, shadowy figure slowly took form. The figure looked extremely old, gaunt and frail, like someone at the very end of their life, as thin as a dead branch, but radiating a majestic aura, so natural it was awe-inspiring. The moment I saw that shadow, I was completely stunned. Is this really a ghost in broad daylight? Isn't this our ancestor who passed away 10,000 years ago? At this moment, the look in the shadow's eyes was somewhat bewildered, as if he didn't realize he'd been gone for such a long, long time. Why was he awakened again today? He quietly sensed his surroundings for a bit, glanced around the environment, and finally fixed his gaze on me. I seemed to be the only one who could sense his existence. My descendant? Just then, I quickly realized that the remnant will option shown on the system panel probably referred to existences like my ancestor. It was the system that gathered and pieced together the scattered fragments of my ancestor's remnant soul, reassembling them so someone already dead could regain awareness, if only briefly, which means my system can bring together the remnant wills of many who have already passed away since ancient times. Who has ever achieved immortality? Even the greatest emperor of all ages couldn't escape death. This means that one day I might even be able to gather the lingering will of the earth. However, right now I'm in no mood to be excited about that. Ancestor, something terrible has happened. Our Chun family is about to be wiped out. Chunju's gaze instantly became extremely sharp. Your arch enemy from when you were alive is about to come knocking on our door. The current strongest cultivator in the Chun family is just half a step. No one can withstand a human king at all. Chanshu furrowed his brow tightly. So it was still discovered? What? I've buried a treasure deep beneath the family grounds. It was originally meant for future generations. Looks like someone wants to steal it. I nod repeatedly, my actions as fast as pounding garlic. I've set up a restriction. Only those with the family's bloodline. Otherwise, even human emperor experts can't touch it. Trying to seize it by force is pure wishful thinking. I thought to myself, no wonder nobody in my previous life ever knew what that treasure really was. Turns out outsiders could never get it to begin with. But ancestor, even if I tell people about this, no one would believe me. He'll still try to slaughter our entire clan, no matter in the Chun family. I've also left a backup plan. That formation is enough to fend off any intruder below the level of a human emperor. When Chanshu spoke, an undeniable aura of dominance could be felt. Hearing about the Great Formation, I was stunned. But I've never heard of our family's formation being this powerful. Isn't it just a basic spirit gathering? An amplification array? If it were really as powerful as Ancestor says, the Chun family in my previous life would never have been destroyed. What? Ancestor Chun's eyebrows knitted slightly. Could it have been lost? I thought to myself, that's probably the only explanation. Even as the direct eldest son, I've never heard of it. Clearly, it has already been lost. Now listen carefully. I'll teach you how to activate it. That shadowy figure began to chant, explaining in detail the inner core of the family's grand formation and its essential principles. The reason I chose this place to establish the family back then was precisely because of the terrifying power hidden underground. It took me half my life to perfectly fuse the family's formation with that underlying energy. Who would have thought it would be lost after just 10,000 years? It's actually been forgotten. A vast and boundless flow of energy surged forth, flooding into my mind in an instant. The sheer volume of complex information almost made me lose consciousness. This knowledge is simply overwhelming. Although it's only the method to activate the formation, the level is so high, it rivals any top-tier spiritual art, quickly absorbing all of the information. I had a look of shock on my face. I was in total disbelief. If that 10,000 years of energy is activated, it could probably instantly kill the Grand Elder. Deep underground here, there must be some hidden secret. The flow of energy is so vast. It's definitely not an ordinary thing. But with my cultivation back then, I couldn't get to the bottom of it either. Chansu's figure was becoming more and more ethereal. Apparently, those lingering fragments of will could barely keep his consciousness together. He looked at me, already possessing a way to gather lost souls again. There is hope for the family's revival. He naturally understands the terrifying implications of such methods, setting everything else aside for now. Just the legacies of fallen powerhouses and the treasures they've left behind are enough to cultivate an unparalleled master. What I buried deep underground is called Tian's. Once you withstand this great enemy, you can retrieve it and make it your own. Chanju's figure had faded to almost complete transparency. In the final moments, he told me the way to obtain Tian's. Afterwards, those fragments completely dissipated between heaven and earth.
His figure vanished as well.
My heart was filled with excitement. With this grand formation in my hands, I will definitely be able to fend off powerful enemies this time. Then I didn't even care what my father wanted to say, and dashed straight back to my own courtyard. I began to devote myself entirely to cultivation. The method to activate the grand formation, for ordinary low-grade formations, can actually be activated by simply infusing spiritual power. But to activate such a terrifying method, special means are required. The difficulty is no less than cultivating a spiritual technique. 3 days should be enough. The technique in my mind was incredibly profound, impossible to describe in words, so I had to cultivate this method on my own. Otherwise, with my lazy nature, I'd probably just toss this technique to my dad to practice. While I hid behind him and enjoyed a carefree life, I hurriedly returned to my room, telling the maid to show Lin Shiying around the estate these 2 days, and have her tell Lin Shiying that I suddenly had an insight and was preparing to go into seclusion and break through. I'd accompany her to sightsee after a couple of days. I thought to myself, just forget about that treasure, Tian's. Even if you turn the entire Chun residence upside down, you won't find it. After handling these daily matters, I locked myself in my room and began to quietly comprehend that mysterious method. The power I circulated was said to come from Mother Earth. Every strand was immensely heavy. During this time, the Grand Elder came by as well. He returned from the neighbors filled with anger and gave my father a brutal scolding. Utter nonsense, simply ridiculous. A father's fault for not teaching his son. After a few beatings, my dad's face was swollen like a pig's head. After reprimanding my father, still not feeling satisfied, the Grand Elder wanted to teach me a lesson as well. But sensing quietly, he realized I really was cultivating some method and gave up on the idea. At least you've got some ambition, kid. He knew I'd been practicing for 2 days. Time flew by. After cultivating for 2 days and nights without sleep, I finally let out a sigh of relief. I'm about to fully comprehend it. Tomorrow, I will definitely succeed in activating the grand formation. The only flaw is, my current level is just too low. At most, I can only trigger the formation a few times. I have no idea if its power will be enough. If it's not enough, I'll have to forcibly burn my own body in exchange for more power. Meanwhile, Lin Shiying searched all over the Chun residence for 2 full days, but still found nothing. I could hear her inner thoughts. How is this possible? Even with means from her previous life for investigation, she couldn't detect anything unusual. Is it because my current cultivation is too low? It seems I'm destined to have no fate with that treasure. After 2 days, she had gained nothing. She thought she couldn't stay any longer, because tomorrow, that terrifying powerhouse would arrive at the Chun family. By then, the whole Chun family would be slaughtered. Staying here now is basically waiting to die. Leaving without saying goodbye? But this young man is a good person. Why not take him with me? Lin Shiying pondered for a moment and finally decided to save my life. I listened to her inner thoughts. She seemed to think that, having reincarnated, it had only been 3 months, yet she'd already experienced all the warmth and coldness of the world from her previous life. Of all the people she'd met, I was the only one who treated her so simply, always thinking of her best interests. If I, someone like this, didn't deserve to be saved, what kind of cultivator was she? With these thoughts, she came to my door and gently knocked. Young Master Chun, could you take me out for a stroll? I've been cooped up in the Chun residence these 2 days, and I'm truly feeling stifled, I replied from inside the room. I still have a little insight to finish comprehending. Miss Lin, you should go out on your own for now. I'll come find you tomorrow. I thought to myself, Lin Shang really isn't bad-hearted. She didn't just abandon me. Her inner thoughts rang again in my mind. If you don't leave today, you won't survive tomorrow. Young Master Chun, just come with me. At that moment, there were quite a few people outside my room. Hearing those words, all their faces showed contempt. Do you even know what kind of person you are? You think you're good enough for Chen Jun? The rejection earlier was already so clear. And you're still here pestering him. Shameless. Do you just want to climb the social ladder that badly? I knew it. Big brother was just bewitched before, that's all. Chun's 7th Mrs. Eyes shone. Big brother doesn't even like me. So how could he possibly fall for Lin Shang? Chun Laoba, glancing helplessly at his sister's 200-pound figure, said with resignation, if you say so, then that's that. I was inside the room, knowing Lin Shang was trying to save my life out of kindness. I thought for a moment, then got up and opened the door. I really do have a key with me. Miss Lin, just go have some fun on your own for now. Once again, my fiancé's inner thoughts echoed in my mind. How do I tell you? If you don't leave now with me, you'll die. Just one day. Young Master Chun, just spare one day. Thinking to myself, I'll just stay here for one more day. And save the whole family in the process. You can do whatever you want. If it really doesn't work out this is really like walking into hell with no way out. And yet, insisting on going in, Lin Shang was full of helplessness inside. She looked at me eagerly, truly at a loss for what to do. I'll have to knock him out tonight and sneak him away. Looks like that's the only way, she thought to herself, just about to turn and leave, when the sky suddenly darkened. The previously clear sky was instantly covered in dark clouds. Day instantly became like night. What's going on? A solar eclipse? No, that's not it. Soon enough, we all knew the answer. A horrifyingly powerful aura pressed down. At that moment, everyone in the Chun family was trembling in fear. A terror rising from the depths of our souls flooded our hearts. This was a supreme cultivator, who far surpassed us through countless levels of existence. The terrifying pressure exuded, sent chills down everyone's spine. A figure gradually emerged within the dark clouds. His face was blurry and impossible to see clearly. He looked down upon the Chun family, then casually struck out, instantly shattering the Chun family patriarch's statue. The Chun family should have been destroyed long ago. That voice was incomparably cold. With an aloof sense of superiority, he looked at the Chun family. Everyone looked at them as if they were nothing but ants. A terrifying spiritual pressure suddenly erupted. At that moment, the lower-ranked members of the Chun family couldn't withstand it at all. Their spiritual power was forcibly drawn out, rampaging wildly through their meridians. Their bodies exploded in an instant. Panicked and desperate screams echoed throughout the entire city in an instant. None of them had ever witnessed such a scene. At this moment, each of them was scared out of their wits. Screams rose and fell one after another. Everyone descended into utter chaos, fleeing in every direction inside the city. Some figures tried to rise into the air, planning to kill the intruder. But under that natural suppression of spiritual power, many people couldn't even take flight. This was an insurmountable gap in strength. Even fighting back had become a luxury. Meanwhile, I stared, wide-eyed at Lin Shang in shock. Didn't you say it would be in 3 days? It's only been 2 days. Why are you already here? Then I heard Lin Shang's inner thoughts. Oh no, in the first year of kingly, someone erased an entire day from history. That day disappeared completely from the world. I can't believe I forgot about this. The moment this great being destroyed the Chun family is actually today, not tomorrow. His eyes were filled with despair. Doesn't this mean he will also lose his life here today? After finally being reborn and returning, he's about to die all because he remembered the date wrong. And now his life and soul are about to be annihilated. He was truly unwilling to accept this. It's all because of that existence. For some secret, they actually made that day vanish from history itself, causing my memory to become distorted. He immediately looked at me. I noticed his gaze was intentional. Then I heard his inner voice. Was he frustrated? Feeling upset for having dragged me into this? Even at the very end of his life, what was on his mind was still me, this young man. At that moment, Lin Shang's heart trembled slightly. From his inner voice I could feel He had never met a youth like me before, not even among all the countless geniuses and champions he'd seen in his previous life. Had anyone possessed a heart as pure as mine, a heart for the Tao like this was sure to lead to extraordinary things in the future. But Lin Shang didn't know that what I was thinking was, you actually managed to get the date wrong. Just a little bit more, and I would have fully comprehended the array. And now you tell me. The thing that's really frustrating is that I was just one step away from success. No, there must still be a chance. There definitely has to be a chance. Without thinking further, I turned and hurried back inside, closed my eyes, and continued cultivating the techniques of the great array. Give me 2 hours, just 2 hours, and I can fully comprehend it. Cold sweat covered my forehead. I was already as tense as could be. The powerful figures of the clan all soared into the air. The great elder's aura was utterly terrifying.
His sharp gaze fixed on the sky.
Who dares boast so arrogantly about destroying my clan? That figure from the Chan family looked at the great elder and let out a mocking laugh. The highest realm is just half a step to king. The Chan family really has declined. He spoke as he pointed casually with his finger. A crimson ray of light shot out. It rapidly expanded in the great elder's eyes. That power was extremely restrained, yet it appeared overwhelmingly turbulent, as if it could break through all barriers at any moment. Faced with this fierce will, the great elder's spiritual power surged madly around him. A suit of golden armor instantly appeared on his body. He had never pushed his spiritual power to such an extreme. The glow radiating from the armor was almost blinding. The finger thrust crashed into the armor, accompanied by a sharp clanging sound of metal. The great elder felt a tremendous force hit him.
It was impossible to resist.
He was instantly thrown into the air and slammed deep into the Chun family's underground. Impressive, he actually survived. Just received some minor injuries. That figure was quite surprised. For a half-step king to achieve this is truly remarkable. At this moment, the great elder's face was full of shock. With just one strike, how could he not understand now? The family is probably about to meet its end today. There is some heritage in the family, and some terrifying techniques. But in the face of this figure before him, they probably won't be much use. That supreme treasure, breaking heaven, could only increase his power by 10% at most. And that beast of heritage was simply no match for this being. At this moment, his first thought was about the younger generation of the family. He quickly used a transmission to call Chen Jun, Chen Guanglin, and Chen Zhuo. You all need to leave now. In my room, there is a secret tunnel leading underground. You must survive. I, still immersed in comprehension, couldn't help but feel my eyes heat up. In my previous life, maybe this is how I managed to survive. Yes, the great elder sacrificed himself to buy us precious time. But perhaps the aftermath of the battle underground injured my foundation in my previous life after all. I closed my eyes, looking at the situation before me. I knew there was no way we'd last more than 2 hours. Such terrifying power. Forget 2 hours. If the great elder can last 15 minutes, it's a miracle. As I thought, I subconsciously checked the system again. Host, Chun Jun. Realm, blood replacement realm energy 102. When did I get this energy? I was stunned. Could this be from cultivation? Or did I gain it while comprehending the methods? At this moment, I had no time to ponder these details. After finding I now had energy, those gray tabs on the system interface could actually be activated. I considered and tried to change my realm to King Realm, but received a prompt. Modification failed. Insufficient energy. I wasn't discouraged. Didn't expect much in the first place. If it were really that easy, then I could just change it to invincible. I quickly scanned the entire system panel and saw the attributes section. Talent, comprehension, Tao heart, heaven-earth attunement rate. These are all legendary and elusive things, impossible to confirm for certain. Now, the system has actually quantified them. I pondered for a moment, then frantically clicked the plus sign behind comprehension. I clicked 10 times in a row, used up all 100 energy points completely. At that very moment, I felt my mind clear like never before. A sensation as though my intelligence was soaring swept over me. I felt exhilarated. All those difficulties about the great formation in my mind suddenly became easy to resolve at this moment. The great formation that originally would take 3 days to comprehend. Now I only needed a day and a half. All those previously tangled questions now became completely clear. My comprehension doubled instantly. The effect was immediate. At this moment, my mind reviewed everything again. The formation method, I now understood fully. The questions that eluded me before now seemed so clear. A thought flashed through my mind. The whole family at this moment felt as if it was under my complete control. This is the rhythm of the underground. A feeling of controlling everything in the world surged in. That powerful force was almost enough to make one lose themselves. Such terrifying power. If one's mind is not firm, they'll easily lose themselves. I took a deep breath. Within the family's territory, I now possessed terrifying strength at the slightest move. Every gesture came with force. At this moment, I glanced around. Everyone in the family was desperately fleeing. The scene of the great elders' crushing defeat made everyone abandon any remaining hope. Now, aside from escaping, what else could they do? Yes, perhaps there's one more option. And that's begging for mercy. Many people were already kneeling, calling and pleading to the figure in midair for him to spare their lives. At this moment, I saw the figure in the sky, with a look of surprise on his face. He seemed to wonder why the Shan family had no backup plans. Did Changzhu really leave nothing behind in the past? He looked across the area. Nothing posed any threat to him. At this moment, he had already noticed the long blade in the great elder's hand. It was a special supreme treasure, and he saw in the forbidden area of the family. A fierce beast was sleeping, but that's only two things. The heritage is way too weak. A once top-tier family has ended up with only these two forms of heritage left. Really laughable. He glanced down below. The Shan family has indeed declined. There are only 2 or 3 people who could still be considered geniuses. On the other side, I slowly stood up. My fiancé's words echoed in my mind again. These past 2 days, I found a secret tunnel. I must escape with him. Lin Shiying, meanwhile, was thinking as she suddenly grabbed my hand. Come with me. There's still a chance to survive. I smiled. Our Chan family has some tricks. If you don't believe me, just watch. I heard his inner thoughts. Yeah, right, like, I'd believe you. If you really had tricks. In my previous life, you wouldn't have been wiped out. However, this thought had just surfaced in his mind when Lin Shiying froze completely. A terrifying power so strong it made one tremble suddenly shot out from underground. That frightening momentum seemed as if it could tear the sky apart. An astonishing surge of power, like a falling meteor, shot straight at the figure in midair. At that moment, the figure's face finally revealed an unprecedented seriousness. I saw him staring at this thunderous strike.
His pupils contracted slightly.
He shouted, "So there is heritage." Methods when Changzhu once dominated a generation of the imperial dynasty. Sure enough, he left some backup even after death. That power soared into the sky. It arrived before his eyes in an instant. He let out a roar. Spiritual energy surged wildly from all around him. Faced with such a terrifying strike, even with his cultivation level, he didn't dare show any arrogance. Brilliant azure light gathered and formed. He pointed his finger forward. It collided violently with the power bursting up from underground. A vast force, as imposing as a mountain, pressed down. It was merely a strand of energy, but felt as heavy as 10,000 tons. The azure light was instantly shattered. And then the energy continued on effortlessly. It crashed heavily onto the man's body. I saw him and felt that this force would pulverize him completely. How is this possible? A look of shock flashed across his face.
His energy began racing madly.
A terrifying aura swept out. The entire city shook and trembled. In the collision, there was only silence. Even the sound was completely obliterated. Then that figure coughed violently and fell directly from midair. His heart was filled with fear, and he wondered if the Chun estate still had some old monster. Such terrifying power must mean someone had perfected a Huang technique. The power of the formation was elusive and intangible. He had no idea that I was actually the one controlling it. Otherwise, with just a thought, he could kill me. Or could it be that old bastard Chenzhu is still alive? Impossible. At the moment he was sent flying, that figure was shaken a lot. Why has no one tried to destroy the Chun family and seize that treasure all this time? He always thought, It was because no one else knew about it. Now it seems the Chan family must still be hiding some old monster. He couldn't help but feel some regret at that moment. He had come here as soon as he got the news. It really was too rushed. He should have observed for a while first. I looked at that figure in Midderno. My blood and energy were surging wildly inside me. All my internal organs had ruptured. Just now, I had only activated a little underground power, and already felt like my whole body was about to burst. The strain from the formation was just too much. So heavy that in my current state, one careless move, and I'd be crushed to death by the backlash. At this moment, I forced myself to breathe deeply, taking advantage as the man was sent flying. I wanted to kill him right then, or scare him so badly that he'd never dare target the Chun family again. Otherwise, if he realized what was happening, things would get dangerous. I had to keep up the act. My body resonated with the earth. Yet another terrifying force shot out. And, in the man's eyes, all he saw in the void was another crushing force coming down. I bet he is completely confused right now. How is this possible? Is it true that such terrifying activation doesn't even need to calm the spiritual energy waves? This kind of terrifying power was thrown out like it was nothing, just another casual strike. And after 2 attacks, he still had no clue who was actually striking. He just felt like it was coming from underground. He could vaguely sense there was a strange space down there, where power was raging violently. The Chan family's old monster has always been hiding underground. A reasonable speculation must have popped into his mind. Besides that, he couldn't come up with any other explanation. Otherwise, Chanzu's remaining tactics. Then those tactics would have been way too powerful. Right now, the spiritual energy throughout his body surged to an unprecedented level. Spiritual techniques flowed beneath his feet. And faintly, there was even the sound of thunder. This was the renowned movement technique he had cultivated for years. Thunder step trained to its peak level. Its speed was like that of lightning. His figure flickered. But even at such speed, he was still overwhelmed by that trace of aura. He felt as though he was about to be flattened and torn apart. Countless pills appeared in his hand. He frantically stuffed them all into his mouth to sustain his life. Enduring that overwhelming force, with just a few flashes, he looked like he was fiercely smacked away. And at the same time like he was fleeing in panic. After leaving splatters of blood across the sky,
He disappeared.
At this moment, how could he care about pride or aloofness? The attitude of seeing everyone else as aunts was completely shattered in this instant. Now he had already concluded. There was another old monster inside the Chan residence. Rumor has it Chenzu once sealed his son away. Turns out it was true. I hate it once someone finds a reasonable answer for something illogical. They believe it deep down without a doubt. They are convinced in their heart. Now he was certain Chanshu's son was not dead. He fled at lightning speed. He didn't dare linger for even a second. Those 2 earth-shattering strikes directly scared him out of his wits. So fast and so terrifying. Meanwhile, this sudden and dramatic turn of events plunged the whole estate into utter silence. The way things unfolded was just too sudden. Many people couldn't react in time. Even the Grand Elder suffered a crushing defeat with just 1 blow. How did a mysterious force suddenly emerge and drive that figure into fleeing? They were rescued. The Grand Elder was equally bewildered. He had already planned to self-destruct, to buy time for his people to escape. But just as that heroic resolve arose, someone told him it wasn't necessary. He looked around, then turned his gaze to his younger brother. In his perception, that force originated from his brother. His mind recalled what's recorded in the family genealogy and several old rumors. It's the ancestor. The ancestor saved us. That's right, it's definitely the ancestor. The second elder started to shout along. Such terrifying strength. Could only be the ancestor or his son. Anyway, they're surely ancestor-level figures. As he said that, the second elder bowed low toward the spot where his brother stood and knocked his head hard on the ground several times, all the while shouting, "Ancestor, Chun residence needs you," with the ancestor leading the way. Soon after, the third elder, fourth elder, and others all followed suit and bowed. "Thank you, ancestor. Thank you, ancestor." The sounds of kowtowing echoed one after another, resounding throughout the entire Chen residence. I stood among the crowd, saw my father nearby getting ready to kowtow as well. Rushed over and quickly pulled him up. There's no need for that. Dad, what ancestor? It's your son. How can I let the whole clan bow to me? I thought it was fine if others did it, but having my own parents bow to me? No way. There's a custom in this world. Parents bowing to their children shortens their lifespan. Every bow takes off 30 years. Bow to the ancestor. You must do it out of gratitude. Father frowned, pulled me over, pressed my head down and made me kowtow hard several times. You kowtow for me. I was so frustrated I wanted to cry. Even bowing to myself now. I touched my forehead and saw it was already bleeding. Turns out Dad was getting revenge. He still hadn't forgotten being beaten. Like a pig's head by the Grand Elder. The whole estate was filled with a sense of relief after catastrophe. Many people collapsed to the ground. In that brief moment just now, they narrowly escaped death. Quite a few were drenched in cold sweat. The only one who remained calm was Lin Shiying. Now I saw him frowning tightly, his face full of confusion. I could hear his inner thoughts. What the heck is going on? There definitely wasn't such a master in my last life. He remembered clearly. The Chan family was wiped out in his previous life. Only a few gifted ones managed to survive. I was one of them, but my foundation was destroyed by the aftermath of battle. I became a useless person. After that, the Chan family soon vanished completely. In Donghai County, it became a thing of the past. So what changed in this life? The Chan family wasn't destroyed. Lin Shiying started to ponder. The biggest variable is obviously me, but I'm certain it has nothing to do with me. So what else could have changed? His wandering gaze happened to glance at me. He kept holding my hand just now, trying to pull me to his brother's secret room. I kept this secret. I saw a flash of realization in his eyes, as if he suddenly remembered something. Then I heard his inner voice. Why do I recall? When the first trace of power surged, Chan Chun's body seemed to undergo some intense backlash. Lin Shiying's speculation was almost about to touch the truth of the matter. Hearing his inner thoughts, you suddenly grew anxious. Don't talk nonsense. It's not me, I didn't do it. You don't want anyone to know about this, because you can't explain it at all. If it gets out, it'll be huge trouble. What you want is just to quietly get rich. When your eyes met, you instinctively avoided him. Oh no, it's probably him. But how does this boy possess such means? Lin Shiying couldn't figure it out, but he's certain. You only have the blood exchange realm. Definitely not. An old monster. At this point, your father had you pinned, repeatedly bowing to the legendary ancestor. I was practically ready to cry, with red marks on my forehead from bowing. Watching all this, Lin Shiying tilted his head. Forget it. Maybe it wasn't him after all. Once the bowing ceremony ended, the Grand Elder quickly had people repair the buildings destroyed in the Chun family. Seeing the ancestor didn't come out, the Grand Elder couldn't help but sigh. If the ancestor appeared, the Shan family could rise to imperial dynasty among the ranks of top clans. You complained inwardly. Give it a rest, wishing for things like that. After everything, the Shan family soon returned to normal. Those who begged for mercy back then were punished. And you ended up getting beaten by both men and women. In Father Chan's room, screams of pain rang out one after another. Ah, it hurts, Mom. I'm sorry, go easy on me, please. Dad, stop hitting me. Your little tricks are nothing in front of your parents. Even if you're at the same cultivation level, you still can't put up a fight. The spiritual tree in your hand is as weak as a small flame. But in your parents' hands, it's like the blazing sun. After a round of punishment, Mother Chun, who has a gentle feminine demeanor, played with the ring in her hand and slowly spoke. Do you know what you did wrong? I shouldn't have said I want to marry Lin Shiying. You think that if you don't say anything, our Chan family will be finished. However, Mother Chan shook her head. Whoever you marry, your father and I won't interfere. Father Chan nodded in agreement with his wife. We're hitting you because you're acting willfully. Even if you really want to marry Lin Shiying, you can't embarrass the Grand Elder in front of outsiders. Father Chan touched his still swollen face. The Grand Elder loses face, and your dad's face is going to be swollen for days. Afterwards, you are helped out of your dad's room by the maid. Your wrist rests on something soft. You subconsciously glanced at system host Chun Jun.
Cultivation level, Yuan body realm, energy 102.
Turns out, those two strands of underground energy earlier resonated and instantly refined all the blood in your body, allowing you to smoothly advance from the ninth stage of blood exchange realm to the first stage of Yuan body realm. You know, that's 10,000 years of energy. Even just a bit of resonance has astonishing effects. Human body realm is the last of the 5 body cultivation stages. It consolidates the first 4 stages and unifies all your previous achievements, determining your future potential. But what really excites you isn't the realm breakthrough, it's the energy points. How did they pop up again? You remember very clearly. You already spent all 100 points. You immediately opened the achievement panel and instantly understood. At this moment, 2 categories were lit up on the panel. First time experiencing the joy of the system. Are you happy? Reward, 100 energy points. Behind the scenes. Be a secret boss. Get worshipped by others. Isn't that wonderful? Reward, 100 energy points. First time. This achievement should be the one you got when you first reunited with your remnant thoughts. Behind the scenes clearly means acting like a master behind the curtain without stepping onto the stage. Thinking of this, a wave of joy surged in your heart. You used to feel annoyed at the dense list of achievements, but now that you realize the amazing power of energy points, you're totally excited. Show off in front of everyone. Young man, you can get 100 energy points for defeating 10 opponents alone. I want to fight 10 at once. You can get 100 energy points for defeating 100 alone. Bring me 100. Let me practice. That's worth 1,000 energy points.
Thick-skinned, people with skin thickness over 60%.
Get 100 energy points. Very thick-skinned, people with skin thickness over 70%. Get 500 energy points. King of human shamelessness. You are the god of thick skin. Get 50,000 energy points. You browsed through them and found that the harder the achievement, the more energy points you get. The highest one has a full 100,000 points. A real man has to be ruthless to himself. Self-castration gets you 100,000 energy points. You instinctively glanced at your little buddy. If I cut him off, I should be invincible. The maid supporting you heard this, and her cheeks instantly flushed. That soft feeling brushed against you again. While healing in your own room, you start studying the achievement panel. You quickly notice some achievements look difficult, but they're actually pretty easy. The next morning, your injuries are mostly healed, so you go to the guest room to find Lin Shiying. Miss Lin, my injuries are almost better. Let's go out for a walk. Sure, let's go to Donghai City first. Donghai City is the capital of Donghai Prefecture. It's not far away. You want to go there, mainly to farm achievements. You both get on a carriage. In less than 15 minutes, you arrive at Donghai City. Young Master Chan is here. The city gate guards greet you from afar. You nod in response and enter the city. You stroll around the city with Lin Shiying. On the way, you see a beggar and casually toss him a silver ingot. Sir, use this to buy yourself some food and clothes. Silver isn't very valuable in this world, but just 1 ingot is enough for a month's worth of buns. You keep tossing silver along the way, quickly giving out more than a dozen ingots. Lin Shiying can't help but ask what you're doing. When poor, keep your life to yourself. When successful, help the world. To me, 1 ingot of silver doesn't mean much, but for them, it could be life-saving money. Lin Shiying is stunned. When poor, keep your life to yourself. When successful, help the world. Such elegant words and lofty life philosophy. In that moment, he feels this young man will definitely have an extraordinary future. Of course, he doesn't know you're just farming achievements. But there's also another important reason. In my past life, I, Chan Jun, read 102 novels. Beggars showed up 73 times. 62 times, they turned out to be hidden big shots. You're scheming away in your mind. What if you really run into a big shot? Just 1 silver ingot could leave a great impression. Why not do it? You look at each beggar and feel like they can't be ordinary. This one is burly and strong. Definitely has cultivation. That one looks spirited. Maybe he's actually a big shot. This beggar's eyes have a spark. It's like a den of dragons among the beggars. After tossing dozens of silvers, the panel's small act of kindness achievement is fulfilled and you earn 100 energy points. Onlookers all praise you for your kindness, young Master Chun. You feel a little embarrassed and distribute a bit more silver. Then you head straight to the south of the city. It's the largest basic training plaza in Donghai City. Over 1,000 kids are gathered here. Most of them aren't even 10 years old. All sweating hard, training their bodies. What are we doing here? Lin Shiying looks at you. A bottle of marrow cleansing pill appears in your hand, along with a broken bone pill and a body training pill. You toss them into the air. Your voice rings out across the square.
Kids.
Your big brother is here to hand out rewards today. In a bit, I'll stand at the very center of the square. If any of you can hit me, these pills will be distributed to you all. After speaking, you leap to the center of the training ground. All around you are countless children. They look at you like hungry wolves staring at a fat sheep. Just as you land, one kid swings a kick at you, carrying a green afterimage. You easily dodge with a graceful move. Then, twisting your body, a few of the rushing kids crash into each other. You are a cultivator at the core body stage, and a genius at that. Dealing with these kids is ridiculously easy, with just a few quick dodges. In your mind, the 1 versus 10 achievement lights up on your panel. You laugh. The achievement description is really simple. It never said you have to actually fight. Taking on 10 kids at the same level is still 1 versus 10. Similarly, the 1 versus 100 and 1 versus 1,000 achievements work the same. You even want to declare you'll take on 10,000. Exploiting system loopholes makes you feel really happy inside. With over 1,000 people in front of you, you're about to hit the jackpot. Lost in pleasant thoughts, you keep dodging nimbly. These kids' moves look full of flaws to you. Even 1,000 can't touch a corner of your clothing. Of course, you're not stingy with the pills. The reason for giving this reward is to motivate the kids a bit more, so you can complete your achievements. In just a moment, the 1 versus 100 achievement is done. Lin Shiying watches this from a distance. Why is Chun Jun so odd? She can't figure out what you're thinking. But your talent really does seem strong. You're improving at a speed visible to the naked eye. With enhanced insight, even while practicing magic, you quickly spot issues you had before. Your spell mastery is making visible leaps. You keep understanding more and more, and keep adding your excess energy to your stats. When spending energy, you add a point to insight. When spending energy, you add a point to talent. After doubling your talent, you notice that even when you move, or even when you breathe, you can faintly sense yourself absorbing spiritual energy from the world. In the past, when you cultivated, you had to use special techniques to absorb spiritual energy. But now, just ordinary breathing does the trick. You suddenly feel a rush of excitement. At this point, all your energy is used up. After dodging a few more times, you complete the 1 versus 1,000 achievement too. But you're still far from the 1 versus 10,000. So you leap into the sky. Alright, Big Brother's done playing with you all. Each of you gets 1 pill. No fighting over them. You hand out the pills, thinking to yourself, with your current talent, you don't even need these pills to help you cultivate. Thank you, Big Brother. The kids get excited all at once, some even close to tears. Even though none of them managed to land a hit on you, this Big Brother still gave away such precious pills for free. Some poor kids even want to kneel and bow to you, but you stop them with a gentle force. So they can't kneel down. No need for that. After handing out the pills, you can hardly wait to see just how fast you can cultivate now. You and Lin Shiying quickly find a quiet place and sit down cross-legged. The supreme cultivation technique of your clan appears in your mind. This technique was handed down from your ancestors, and you're the only one in the family who can understand it. It channels energy from the danshan, flows through the right kidney, then down to the right foot. Lin Shiying watches out of curiosity. This seems familiar. Before she can think more, she is stunned. How can you absorb spiritual energy so quickly? With you at the center, spiritual energy is wildly surging toward you, almost forming a mini-storm. As you cycle your technique, a feeling of exhilaration washes over your whole body. Right now, it feels like every single pore is frantically absorbing spiritual power. Now this is what you call a genius. After all your crazy stat upgrades earlier, your talent has reached 53, more than twice what it was before. You feel that with your current talent, you'd definitely be among the top in all of the Eastern Zhou. Now I can truly take it easy from now on. You think to yourself, as long as I stay home all day, even if I'm just sleeping, I'm still cultivating. Why does this cultivation technique seem so familiar? Lin Shang speaks up and asks, what technique is this that you're practicing? It doesn't seem very common. It's the secret technique passed down in my Chun family. Only I am able to comprehend it. I've already let my guard down. Besides, I don't believe a reincarnator would be interested in our family's cultivation method. Let me explain it to you. Lin Shang's eyes light up. Okay. Why does he trust me so much? Could he really have fallen for me at first sight? But unfortunately, I'm destined for greatness. Ooh, what am I even thinking? I'm not the Supreme Emperor yet. You start explaining the technique, telling it to Lin Shang. The first principle is harnessing yang energy, emphasizing the world's yang energy, and so on. As soon as she hears the first phrase, Lin Shang immediately reacts. When you were practicing it, wasn't there a page missing from the manual? He remembers now. This is the signature technique of the Hidden Yang sect, a supreme level cultivation method. You nod yes, it's missing the first page. But the Grand Elder said it was just an introduction. It wouldn't affect actual cultivation. Oh no, oh no. This kid is done for. Your heart skips a beat. How am I ruined again? Didn't you just say this method is at the highest level? Lin Shang says, the technique you practice is from the Hidden Yang sect's signature manual. Do you realize? The Hidden Yang sect went extinct over 100,000 years ago. You know that, but do you know why the sect died out? You think, what else could it be? Wiped out by an enemy, obviously. No, it died out naturally. Because no one wanted to practice the Hidden Yang sect's cultivation method anymore. Fewer and fewer disciples joined, until it finally vanished. A bad premonition creeps into your mind. You force yourself to ask, why do you think that is? What was written on the missing page of your manual? You feel unsteady on your feet. What did it say? It said, if you wish to master this divine technique, you must first castrate yourself. It's as if thunder explodes by your ear. Your legs go weak, and you almost collapse on the spot. You force yourself to stay standing. But I didn't castrate myself and still cultivated, right? You're definitely lying to me. A look of pity flashes across Lin Shang's face. The reason is simple. You can practice this technique without castration. But at the end, the result is the same as being castrated. If you castrate first, your cultivation progresses faster. If you cultivate first and then castrate, it's just slower. At this moment, you feel like the sky is falling. No wonder the previous owner all these years never made a move even when surrounded by servant girls. Turns out he was nearly ruined anyway. And every time you practiced before, you always felt a blockage down there. Now that your comprehension has improved, you finally realize how big the flaw in this method was. Lin Shang goes on talking to herself. In the Hidden Yang sect, one had to self-castrate to practice their signature technique. So no talented cultivator wanted to join. And the sect leader from hundreds of thousands of years ago thought of a solution. He tore out the first page of the manual and spread it around, hoping that someday a talented person would stumble onto this path by accident. It was a way of passing on the legacy, at least. In your mind, you curse that ancient sect leader from the Hidden Yang sect 10,000 times over. What a devious guy. You keep feeling a dull pain in your chest. You can barely stand. If I destroy my foundation and start over from scratch, would that work? You ask with a shred of hope. The Shan family's basic techniques are worthless. There's no pill that could fix this. As far as I know, there isn't one. If there were, the Hidden Yang sect wouldn't have died out. Every sentence crushes your dreams. You almost ask in despair. So there's really no solution? At this point, Lin Shang's inner thoughts sound again actually. There is also a way. But should I tell him? Are you still hesitant? The success rate of this approach is too low. Almost zero. Telling him seems to be just giving him hope in vain. Make him despair again. You think to yourself, I'm desperate now. Not bad at all. Is there nothing we can do? You asked eagerly. Lin Shang hesitated for a moment. Yes, yes, but no buts. Your eagerness is written on your face. Okay, have you ever heard of the body saint? Of course, the name Tisheng is like thunder throughout the Eastern Zhou dynasty. No one knows, Lin Shang said. It is said that Tisheng has achieved a truly flawless body. Therefore, if you can understand the body saint Dharma door, complete the flawless reshaping of the physical body. But how difficult it is. In my previous life, I was enlightened for decades in the inheritance place of Tisheng. No gain. Body saint is synonymous with the incomparable body. It is said that the place where he fell, a strange energy field is formed, can suppress anyone below their original level by observing the fluctuations in the field. If you have enough understanding, then you can understand the inheritance of Tisheng. But he died hundreds of thousands of years ago. No one can understand it yet. And hearing this, you suddenly feel like you've got hope. And there seems to be great hope. Thinking blankly, the memories of my ancestors can be reunited. Then the body saying should also be able to do it, right? For others, it depends on field deduction. It seems unnecessary to you. It seems that he doesn't have the confidence either.
Indeed.
No one has been able to realize it for hundreds of thousands of years. Lin Shang said while thinking, better go and have a look. Not far either. Moreover, the physical body can be tempered in the physical holy field. It will also be of great benefit to you. Walk. You don't want to be nagging for 1 second now. You don't want your little brother to die like this. You guys left the city quickly, riding the chariot on the way to Qingqun County of the Eastern Zhou dynasty. A full night, you guys in the wilderness. I can only make do with sleeping in the car. I haven't. How can the empress be crowded together with others?
Hey, forget it, forget it.
It's not like covering up with a quilt. Just being in the same room. It's okay, it's okay. Lin Shang kept comforting herself in her heart. No wonder he's been so polite these days. Keep distance from me. I thought it was because I wasn't attractive enough. Sure enough, I thought too much. How can you care about this? Now all I can think about is my little brother. Another full half-day passed. Crossed a mountain range. Your eyes are forward. Brilliant golden light. Light up the sky. View from the top of the mountain. From a distance, you can see countless figures sitting in the golden light, like a swarm of little ants. That is the place where the body sage fell and was inherited. You walk down the mountains, far close. I feel a pressure coming from me. In this kind of situation, you feel like your whole body is changing very slightly. Weird power penetrates the body, subtly transforming you. You found a place outside and sat cross-legged. I closed my eyes and felt it silently. Volatility is indeed inheritance. It can be deduced from fluctuations. You have outstanding understanding now. Naturally, it is easy to judge. But we need to rely on fluctuations to infer the complete technique. It's just a fool's dream. You opened the system map and took a look. Go to the center. Need to go 90 kilometers further. You looked forward. The vast majority of people are on the periphery. Only about 30% of people can advance to 10 kilometers. The farthest one seems to have gone 70 kilometers. It seems that she is still a woman. Lin Shang's heartbeat sounded again. Xian wants to taste that clip. Humph, you were stunned. What is a clip? But I'm not in the mood to think too much at this time. You get up and start walking inside. The initial pressure is very light. You feel nothing. Under the influence of strange forces, you feel like there are impurities around your body that need to be excreted. A field that creates a flawless body. The fluctuation is really good. Advance at great speed. Little bits of black liquid are oozing out from all over the body. In just a few moments, we reach the 20-kilometer line. This is where 90% of people are blocked. Got here. You finally got some attention. So young. Guy, slow down. Remember not to show off. A bald man offered kind words and advice. You nod. Thank you for reminding me. But for you, this position just felt like a hindrance, right? You didn't linger at all. Keep moving forward. Hey, you young man. Don't listen to the old man's words. Suffering in front of you. Someone sneered twice. Among these, there was an old beggar with unkempt hair, but his eyes were straight. You frog in the well. Look at this young man's steps. There is no hindrance to him here at all. Hiss, it's true. Now many people are in high spirits. How far do you think this young man can go? I bet 40 kilometers. Bet on a bottle of blood-stained pill. You ignored the comments behind you. Soon we arrived at the 30 kilometers mark. You've already got a bit of a hard feeling here. I still have to fill in the holes for you. I'm so frustrated with this time travel. You cursed it in your mind. The whole body is soaked with sweat. Every step I take feels like I'm carrying a mountain. You gritted your teeth for the happiness of little brother. Use the remaining energy to add some talent. When consuming energy, talent plus 1 against 1,000. The energy obtained is almost consumed. And your talent comes to the terrifying 7-8. It is 4 times as much as when traveling through. After adding points, every move you make is absorbing the spiritual power of heaven and earth. Under the circulation of the physical sacred field, this kind of absorption becomes extremely terrifying. Quietly and swiftly, you reach the position of 30 kilometers, rested for a while. After adapting to the pressure, get up slowly, keep going. According to the physical strength before crossing, walking to 50 kilometers is the limit. Do you think the original owner was really not doing his job properly? You move forward slowly. Breathe into every part of your body. Every pore is being baptized. 40 kilometers location. There was a cry from behind. Apparently someone lost the bet. And you at this moment already attracted most of the audience's attention. Went 40 kilometers. Really awesome. Many people were shocked and envious. There's almost no one around where you are. You take a moment to adapt again at 40 kilometers. Then move forward. Got here. The power of the field has tended to liquefy. Take it into your body with your breath. Crazy transformation of your body. But only little brother. Still not much has changed there. Relying on field expulsion simply won't work. You can't help but feel a little chill in your heart. This technique is too vicious. You breathe heavily. Move forward step by step. Some small hidden injuries that were originally top-notch before. They are all being slowly repaired. The body refining realm has never surpassed Zhou Tian. Perfectly tempered. Broken bone realm has only been tempered once. Cutting marrow is even more outrageous. You are really speechless to the original owner. You have to clean up the mess you left behind. Walk to the 50 kilometers location. There's only that girl left in front of you. You're not in a hurry to move on. Instead, he silently sat down cross-legged. Keep breathing out. Rely on strong understanding. Make the fluctuations of the body and the field more consistent. After practicing like this for 7 full days, you open your eyes? My talent is terrible. It took 7 days to repair all the previous hidden problems. Now the polishing of the first 4 physical realms is flawless. You looked at your body. There is amazing power hidden under the bright golden light. Combat strength has at least doubled. After reaching the limit of the first 4 realms, flawless. The oppression at 50 kilometers is nothing. You get up and move forward again. Walking slowly step by step. After 2 more days, you finally reached the 70 kilometers mark. Now, the girl who had been sitting cross-legged seemed to suddenly notice something. She turned around. There is surprise in the eyes. Wow, little brother is so awesome. The voice sounds like coquettishness. Incomparably intimate. I was stunned for a moment before I came to my senses. It turns out this is called a clip. The girl in front of you looks a little younger than you. Oval face is delicate, eyes flickering. Wearing a ponytail looks cute. You are also very powerful. You respond politely. You think that this person in the future should also be a big boss. Otherwise, Lin Shiying wouldn't know him. Since he is a boss, of course we need to have a good relationship. At this time you also discovered, this man was hesitating and breathing. There are actually fluctuations in spiritual energy. Although not as good as you, but it's also scary to know. You increased your talent 4 times to achieve this effect. It turns out that this person is a little worse than you. No more, hee. It seems that my brother can still move forward. Maybe we can even walk to the center, get the inheritance. But my sister can only go so far. The voice is still sweet. It seems like I'm being coquettish with you. You laughed twice. As a straight man, it's true that I'm not used to it. My name is Yan Shangchang. He is from the Yan family in Zhongzhou during the dynasty. Where are you, brother? Girl laughing. It suddenly dawned on you. It turns out he is a genius from Zhongzhou. Came here specifically for the body saint inheritance. Temper the body. So you opened your mouth and said, "My name is Chanjun. Chan family, Donghai County, Dongju." "Oh, I've heard of Chunzu's family." The girl seemed to see an old friend. "Grab your hand." The soft touch of my little hand came. "You're also a little dazed." This man actually knows his ancestor. Lin Shang's voice comes to mind. This guy wants to taste it. So shameless. At this time, Lin Shang was also practicing in the field. Although the distance is far, but for him, a reborn person, you can see clearly from this distance. You can even tell what they said just by looking at their mouth shapes. Why is Chan Jun being held by someone's hand? I'll feel a little uncomfortable. Oh, what's going on? No. I am the future empress. It's impossible to be with an ordinary genius. Listening to my fiancé's voice, there's something funny in your heart. This is said to be a rebirth. In fact, the mental age is that of a child. The clouds in front of me are longing. Suddenly, big eyes flashed. Senior Chanzu was very kind to me. I never expected to meet the descendant of my benefactor here. Zixi is really kind. As he spoke, he took out a jade pendant. "Brother, this is my jade pendant. Whenever you come to Central State, remember to visit the Yun family and find me." You take it in confusion and nod your head. But this girl just keeps chattering like a total talker, making you feel a bit of a headache. Originally, you planned to spend a few days at the 70-kilometer mark to get used to it before moving on. But you couldn't stand her noise, so you had no choice but to keep going. Just then, your presence as you walked this far had already caused a sensation. No one has ever gotten past 70 kilometers in 100 years.
Actually,
If Yan Shangchang hadn't shown up recently, it would have been 500 years since someone broke through. Many people there stared wide-eyed, filled with disbelief. So young, but their physical body is so strong. How could anyone reach this level of cultivation? Even the Duke King of Qinhuang County had personally arrived at the scene. He is the highest authority in all of Qinhuang County, a terrifying expert at the human king level. At this moment, his eyes were shining, watching you closely. He wondered whether you would ever reach the center. If you could present the inheritance of Tisheng, I might even marry my daughter to him. Such an inheritance would be coveted even by emperors of royal dynasties. If it could emerge during my term, the dynasty would surely reward me handsomely. It's not just the Duke King. Many sects and noble houses near Eastern Zhou all rushed over overnight, hoping to recruit you. Unfortunately, you belong to the Chun family, so there's no hope of taking you in. But none of them left. They want to see just how far you can go. Each step you take now feels extremely difficult. You look back, just a few hundred meters away. Yet it took you almost a quarter of an hour to walk. You even faintly feel the domain ahead is starting to turn solid. You can't go forward at all. Breathing deeply, all impurities in your body are expelled. I've already reached the peak of the 4 realms. I've reached my limit. If I can't even make it to the center like this, then how is it possible? Does that mean I have to transcend my limit? Once this idea is set in your mind, you grit your teeth and start struggling to run. Your body shakes as you move forward. At 81 kilometers, your skin begins to crack. Red fluid oozes out 82 kilometers. Your outer body is completely shattered. A red mist swirls around you 83 kilometers. Your bones have hairline fractures 84 kilometers. Hand bones break. Skull shows cracks. Leg bones break as well. You've never experienced such pain in either of your lifetimes. You can only let out quiet screams. At 88 kilometers, fractures cover your entire skeleton. Still moving forward. You're holding your bones together purely by spiritual power. But the cost is overwhelming. You can't hold out much longer. At 89 kilometers, your vision blurs as you look ahead. Your consciousness is fading. Your blood, flesh, meridians, and bones are all in ruins. With your current physical state, anyone would believe you're seriously injured or worse. You inch forward with great difficulty. But this last kilometer feels impossibly far away. Just then, Yang Shangcheng, standing 70 kilometers behind, watches you. Tilting her head, he looks like he really wants to move closer. Let me help him then. He forms a seal in his hand and some strange power flows. It's very similar to the domain's fluctuations. Her petite body starts to tremble slightly. She looks at the figure ahead. Her hand pushes the seal forward. At that instant, The domain's waves actually paused for a moment. You feel a strange energy rush over and throw you forward suddenly. You look back and instantly realize this is Yan Shangcheng's doing. You think to yourself, this person's understanding is terrifying. To master such a move in just 3 months. Isn't that almost like me? So you're pushed forward, quickly opening your system panel in your mind. On the map's edge, a new name appears. The domain pressure around Tisheng has forced you to the ground. You can't do anything. You quickly tap in your mind, afraid you might accidentally leave the range. Right after that, shards of the world rush in crazily again and gather in front of you, forming a faint shadow of a person. It slowly takes shape. It's an extremely skinny middle-aged man. Looking at his face, he seems a bit dazed. But he snaps out of it immediately. When he looks at you, he appears shocked. What kind of power is this? Earthen technique. But even that can't revive his lingering spiritual presence. Let him regain consciousness only briefly. It's terrifying. You immediately ask the elder to save your life. Tisheng frowns, just a lingering spirit. There's no power left. How could I possibly save you? What happened to you? Your face is full of anger and grief. Junior practiced that damned yin-yang sect technique, resulting in nearly total disability below the waist. Can only hope for recovery from the elder's physical cultivation method. Tisheng's eyes flash, looking at you with some curiosity. Tell me about the technique you practiced. Yin-yang, first stage. When the world's yang energy is born, you start reciting the technique. After a while, he stands up laughing. Who created this? Probably someone who glimpsed something within my domain, but misunderstood and went astray. This technique is clearly inspired by mine, but lacks the most critical part. You pause, surprised such a backwards method exists. I can give you my technique, but you must promise me one thing. Tisheng slowly speaks. Please say it, elder. I was set up by the villains of the Ming sect, and fell here. After you become a saint, return my corpse from Ming sect. I refuse to let them tamper with my body after death. You've never heard of Ming sect, but you definitely agree to this request. Who knows how long until you become a saint anyway. First, cure the little brother and worry about that later. Listen carefully to my technique. As he spoke, his body shook. This is the real secret of the physical body. Dense stars appear before your eyes. Looking at the human body, it actually fills everything. That single glance, it feels like seeing a whole world. The human body holds great secrets. The physical body itself is a miniature world. You can now see what the world looks like. You slowly nod. Within Tisheng's body, it's as if you see a world inside. That's right, Tisheng looks very pleased. Physical cultivation reaches the 5th heaven. How does the 4 realms return? One blood essence resonates at 365 points throughout the body. These 365 points are the true physical limit. As he spoke, Tisheng begins to demonstrate. Every movement is extremely slow. Your eyes are wide open, not missing a thing. Did you see clearly? The most important area is the lower body. It's the convergence point of all yin and yang energies. That secret technique you mentioned from the hidden yang sect is missing this part. Its refining method is also quite rudimentary, which is why the entire technique is unrecognizable. So that's how it is. You suddenly understand. Thank you, Senior Physique Sage. You think to yourself that your little brother is finally saved. You were almost moved to tears. Fortunately, this technique evolved from the Physique Sage's method. No need to start all over again. You just have to perfect and complete it. For the Ming sect to bring back my corpse was no simple feat. Let me give you one more thing. The Physique Sage senses it, his consciousness about to dissipate. At this moment, you didn't expect. An unexpected bonus. My most renowned accomplishments. First, the physical cultivation art. And second, my body techniques. The Physique Sage pushed the study of the body to the extreme. He created his own entire system of spiritual techniques. Hearing the Physique Sage's words, you pause for a moment, then feel a surge of excitement. The highest level spiritual technique in your family is the Apex King technique, while his method is obviously a saint technique, above the royal arts. If you master it, you'll be unrivaled among your peers. At least you won't embarrass other transmigrators. While you're thinking that, you bow and say, "Thank you, Senior." Tisheng smiles faintly. Then a flash of light flickers on the wall.
He actually condensed the last bit of his thoughts
into one point and dropped it into your hand. Now you feel truly confident. Then the figure completely dissipates from the world. With the physical cultivation method in your possession, you struggle to move backward, soon crawling out of the 90-kilometer range. Then you quickly keep retreating and finally stop at 70 kilometers. By now your body is covered in wounds and you look half dead. You pull out a restorative pill from your pocket and pop it in your mouth. Then you look at Yang Shangchang and thank her sincerely. Thank you, hehe. If you really want to thank me, big brother, maybe you should marry me instead. Yang Shangchang blinks her big eyes, looking so serious. You're dumbfounded. There must be something fishy going on. Lin Shiying's inner voice echoes again. Shameless woman. So, big brother, will you think about it? Yang Shangchang flutters her big eyes and leans close to you, almost touching you completely. I want to see how Chunjun reacts. Wait, hold on. Why do I even care about his reaction? He can do whatever he wants. Forget it, never mind. I'm just curious. But you show no response at all. You just force a couple of awkward laughs, letting the girl circle around you again and again. You remain completely unmoved. You're in no rush to leave. And instead, you start to cultivate silently. You silently recite the mantra. As soon as you start circulating the technique, you immediately can't help but cry out in pain. This technique is incredibly overbearing. The four realms merge as one, actually tearing flesh, bones, and meridians apart, then ravaging them together. That kind of agony goes straight to the bone. Most people, let alone practicing, can't even form a single thought. Still, you grit your teeth in silence and continue to circulate the art. You endure the excruciating pain and keep trying again and again for just the first circulation. It took you 2 whole hours to complete it. 1 full cycle. At the bridge of heaven point on your head, the first fourfold resonance node lights up 1365. It's like my head is sensing something. You quietly focus on your head. At the bridge of heaven, you feel like you can sense every strand of hair, and even the movement of every wisp of air. You suddenly have a moment of complete understanding. All 4 realms become one. At this key node, you have fully mastered the sky bridge above your head. So in the days that follow, you begin your relentless cultivation day and night without rest. The reason you haven't come out during this cultivation period is because of Lin Shiying's inner voice, the king of the Qingquan commandery. Later followed Prince Ping in an attempt to rebel, and his entire clan was executed. You think to yourself that you can't risk any connection to someone like that. If by any chance you entered his service, you'd be considered part of his 9 generations. You sit cross-legged in silence and continue cultivating at the 70-kilometer mark. Time flows by. The crowd grows more and more anxious, waiting. The commandery king finally speaks slowly. He is shocked inside. This young man's Tao heart is extraordinary. He is destined to be someone of great importance in the future. Meanwhile, you inside the domain pretend to know nothing and continue your relentless cultivation. 2,365,336,518,365. When all 18 nodes on your arm light up, you discover you can control how you raise your arm to an accuracy of 0.00001 degrees. This is a micro-level improvement. When your entire body is harmonious, all 365 nodes will resonate. Your body is in constant resonance and reinforcement. At every moment, my body will keep getting stronger and stronger. I truly feel the terrifying power of the physical saint method. At the same time, you notice the commandery king is very patient. Why hasn't he left yet? You have to admit, you're getting a little anxious. All you can do is silently close your eyes, pretending still not to notice the commandery king is waiting for you. In the blink of an eye, another month has passed. You've done nothing else but keep on training day and night. 173,365. Yet the commandery king still hasn't left. Many of the people waiting outside the domain are running out of patience. You continue your cultivation. In the blink of an eye, another month and a half goes by. Another fleeting moment. 354365. This moment, you've arrived at the most important position. There are as many as 11 key nodes here. You adjust your state to the very best. carefully circulating your cultivation method, and holding a prepared elixir in your hand. There must not be the slightest mistake here. As soon as you focus, a sharp, bone-deep pain follows. A scream bursts out at the surge of pain. The agony of being torn apart is nearly unbearable. No, if you don't complete the repair right now, you'll truly be crippled. You force yourself to keep going, grinding your teeth so hard they make a cracking sound, almost breaking your teeth, drenched in cold sweat. You manage to light up the first node. It takes a whole week. You finally reach the very last spot. And as the final node is about to be activated, you realize you feel like you're about to be reborn. You can clearly feel a surging, powerful force. Your whole body rumbles with vibration. All the power gathers at the crucial meeting point. A sense of powerful surge bursts forth at this moment. If you don't transform now, you can't contain such overwhelming power. Then, a newborn force courses through your whole body, and you feel completely reborn. You gain new life. It's taken months of effort, but you are very satisfied with the results. There's also something else to be pleased about. The Commandery King finally couldn't wait any longer and left. After cultivating for a full 3 months, you rise for the first time, with your whole body shaking. At this moment, you feel as if you have merged with the domain. Your fluctuations completely synchronized with it. You look toward the center, now certain you can easily reach it. Of course, you don't go. You get up and walk out of the domain area. At this moment, Lin Shang is also slowly approaching. The Commandery King had been waiting for you all this time, but left just 3 days ago. You feign surprise at hearing about the Commandery King, acting as if you truly had no idea. Surrounding gossip and sighs only make you smile. You accept an academy invitation token handed over by a guard. Don't even look at it, and turn to leave. Lin Shang follows behind you. Where are you going? I'm going to cause some trouble. You rub your chin. Yeah, cause some trouble. Just as you're about to stir up trouble, golden light flashes across your body and vanishes. You have gained complete insight into the physical saint method. Lin Shang is in disbelief. No, buts. And the effect is still amazing. You think to yourself, right now you still can't fully trust Lin Shang. The physical saint method is just too precious. So you tell a little lie. But what does that have to do with you making trouble? Don't you feel like I'm truly unbeatable among my peers now? You stop where you stand, posing as a reclusive master. Being unbeatable, after all, you're still just a teenager. Listening to your fiancé's thoughts, you feel a surge of defiance. I just don't believe it. I can't be invincible. You continue speaking. Every time I got into trouble as a kid, my parents would beat me up when I got home. But whenever they did, they would always suppress their level down to match mine before fighting me. But every time, I get beaten black and blue. The worst time, I couldn't get out of bed for 7 full days. Lin Shang can't help but laugh. So you laugh too? Now that I'm unbeatable among my peers, I think it's time to get in trouble again and surprise my parents. Let's see if you can beat me this time. Hey, Lin Shang. The two get on the carriage and head straight for Donghai Commandery. Little bro has recovered and gained new life. You're in a great mood, chatting along the way, while looking at the map in your mind, letting this group of precious horses wander all over the place. You managed to collect quite a few lingering jealousies, and discovered several treasure hideouts. Every now and then, Lin Shang's inner voice echoes. He seems to be waiting for something. By the time you count, it's about due. When Chen Zhong has to drive the carriage toward the desert, at the border between Donghai and Qingquan commanderies, in a desolate wasteland, 2 thin figures are fleeing at full speed, wounded all over, looking battered and exhausted. Struggling, they keep running for several kilometers more. In a sandpit, the 2 finally can't walk any farther, and collapse inside, waiting to die. Auras are closing in from behind. There's no time to hesitate. One of them gathers spiritual energy in his hands, just about to do something, when he suddenly pauses. Looking up, he sees an ornate carriage rumbling closer. The 2 cling to their last hope, and shout for the senior to save their lives. The carriage thunders past, and in their hopeless eyes, it actually stops. Too bad you arrived a bit early. So you stop the carriage. Of course, you also sense a group of people rushing in from far away. You just stand there silently, not planning to escape. Soon, a group of men on fine horses arrive, long spears in hand, armor gleaming. Their leader frowns and looks at you. May I ask your esteemed name? Zhou Ming of the Zhou family of Donghai Commandery, declares proudly, looking every bit the pampered young master. Zhou Ming is the second son of the Zhou family, who you beat up pretty badly not long ago. You used to masquerade as him quite often. The guard-looking man saw the way you looked, and instantly felt angry. Do you know them, sir? Not knowing the leader, he grew even more irritated. If you don't know us, why are you acting all tough? But when he saw your fine steed and carriage, he realized you must have a powerful background, and had to hold back his anger, saying, "This is a private affair between the Prince Ping's mansion and them. It would be best if you didn't get involved." You laughed. Well, now I definitely want to get involved. Do you know what it means to offend us? Your expression turned cold, and you put on the classic arrogant young master's look after being threatened. I'm Zhou Ming. I'm not afraid of anything. What can you possibly do to me? You shouted arrogantly, puffed out your chest, tilted your head up proudly, and glanced sideways at the group in front of you. A hint of murderous intent flashed in the leader's eyes. What a foolish playboy. He doesn't even have the most basic combat experience to just strut around and leave himself wide open like this. Isn't he asking to die? Right now you looked so tempting in his eyes. A fool like this. If he didn't deal with you, he'd feel sorry for himself. His eyes flashed with a cold gleam. The spear in his hand disappeared. A dagger somehow appeared in his hand. Then with a flash of purple light, he took a heavy step forward and shot straight at you like a cannonball. He raised the dagger. With a sharp sonic boom, it even tore through space and went straight to pierce your body. Refined body stage? You let out a slight You thought to yourself that this is the bad thing about this world. People are ready to kill at the slightest disagreement. All I said was I wanted to meddle in this matter, and didn't even say how. But you already attacked. What if I said I wanted to help you deal with those two women? So impatient. Thinking that, you shook your body. Radiant energy burst forth from you, and you sent a punch right at the dagger. Normally, the refined body stage is elite in life level. Ordinary divine soul cultivators can't match it, but your body is flawless, surpassing everyone else. Your current fighting strength can't be judged by common sense. Plus, you have sacred arts. The power of sacred arts is 16 times that of regular spiritual arts. Even if you're a whole realm below, it's more than enough to make up for it. With this punch, the body same technique surfaced in your mind. Although because of tiny differences in your physiology, this body technique isn't quite suited for you and needs further refinement and improvement. But even so, this punch was still terrifying. Before your fist and the dagger even clashed, the overlapping blows from your fist shattered the dagger immediately. The leader only saw blazing fist shadows, and under the overwhelming strength, he couldn't resist at all, and was instantly blown away by the blast. That punch landed on his body and sent him flying backward, leaving him gravely injured. But strangely, he actually started laughing hysterically. Turns out you really are a spoiled brat. You have pitifully little combat experience. He struggled to stand up from the ground. Feeling the wounds in his body, he was both resentful and exhilarated. This kid is so dumb. He laughed and pointed at you with difficulty. Look at your fist. As the wind from the dagger swept past, it left a tiny scratch on your fist. A few spots of bright red blood scattered. That dagger was coated with deadly 7 poisons powder. You're finished. He looked at you, as if you were already dead.
Hearing this,
The two exhausted female cultivators suddenly felt a wave of despair wash over them. They thought they'd be saved. But it turned out this young man was just a reckless rookie, without even the most basic combat experience. The two of us still couldn't escape death. How could you be so stupid? The two of them failed to catch their breath. They passed out instantly. Upon hearing the words from across, you were momentarily stunned. Are you talking about that deadly poison? You had a sudden thought. Your whole body tensed. That so-called deadly poison invading your body. A faint wisp of purple gas was condensed out. You mastered the method to reinforce your body. You have complete control over your body. Just this bit of poison? Where could it possibly hide? Even if it seeped into your bones, You could easily force it out? The leader's eyes widened in shock. Watching this scene, he was utterly disbelieving. What kind of monster is this? Why? Alright, just rest in peace. You thought if you hadn't held back just now, I might have spared your life. But now there's nothing I can do. I just said one thing, and you tried to kill me. So why can't I fight back? As soon as you finished speaking, you threw another punch. One punch that covered sky and earth. The world faded with that punch. Facing this punch, even though the leader was at the transcendence stage, he had no chance to resist. He was utterly desperate. He could only risk everything. He activated the Rivertown technique and summoned terrifying power. Rushing straight to the heavens, he slashed down fiercely. A soft swoosh sounded. The giant sword shadow shattered from a single punch. Then the shockwave swept across. Everyone in front died instantly. You felt no mental burden, because according to history, all these people's families would have been implicated. They served King Ping, though only a branch family, but still unable to escape their fate. Now that I dealt with you, it's as if I've saved your loved ones. You all should thank me. You felt you'd done yet another good deed. Everything fell silent. You looked toward the two unconscious female cultivators in the sandpit. What was it that Lin Shang wanted so badly? You were very curious. Looking at the two women passed out before you, Lin Shang also started pondering. She really wanted to get that item. But as long as these two are alive, the item still belongs to them. What a dilemma. How could a future empress resort to stealing? No, that's not right. What should I do? She frowned deeply. She really wanted you to help her steal it. Suddenly she had an idea. Wait, I'm just doing this to ensure history continues as it should. No, according to the normal timeline, this item shouldn't be on these two anyway. I'm correcting history here. Yes, for the sake of history. I must take it. Thinking this, Lin Shang felt no guilt. He glanced at the two unconscious female cultivators, then searched one of them and found a round sphere. He nodded with satisfaction and left. Looking at the two unconscious female cultivators on the ground, noticing how disheveled they looked, you pondered for a moment. You set up a small illusion array for their eyes, to prevent the two from encountering misfortune. After all this, you finally drove away. Half an hour later, the two female cultivators lying in the desert slowly woke up. We survived. I can't believe I'm still alive. They looked at each other, with disbelief written on their faces. Then one suddenly realized something. She checked her whole body. Oh no, the item is gone. The other girl frowned and pondered. Both of us survived. That means the people from Prince Ping's mansion must be dead. So, in that case, it must have been that young man who took it. What was his name again? Zhou Ming from the Zhou family in Donghai County. Meanwhile, you and Lin Shang had already left. Inside the carriage, you curiously examined the round sphere. Anything stolen by a reborn person must be extraordinary. But you couldn't figure out why. What's so special about it? What is this? This item is called the arm. Lin Shang held it in her hand. Mashe had a hint of nostalgia on her face. I've seen you mentioned in ancient books. You thought, she's making that up. But she can't fool me anyway. What's this thing used for? The arm contains everything. It's said that it holds all within. You laughed. Contains everything? Just this broken thing? How could it claim to contain all? That's right, Lin Shang seemed genuinely serious. It's said to be a collection of all information in the world. Everything in heaven and earth is contained within. Now you are interested. Everything? Is there earth arts in it? Treasures, divine weapons. Peerless immortals too. Or at least traces of them. Hearing this answer, you were stunned. Your first thought was Lin Shang was lying. But then you heard her inner voice. In my past life, I obtained quasi-emperor inheritance from this. Otherwise, I'd just be another ordinary genius. You frowned, completely dumbfounded. This thing went beyond your knowledge. If it really exists, how do you obtain it? Just by observing. Whatever you comprehend from it is what you get, but according to the records, a person can only observe it once in their lifetime. Lin Shang continued. Some people saw earth moles. Some saw invincible arrays. Some saw ancient alchemy methods. Of course, most people can only see some useless information. I wonder, I repeat, if I can see anything again. Last time I saw the quasi-emperor inheritance. Now your curiosity was piqued. Let me try first. Lin Shang had no guard against you. After all this time together, she knew your stars wouldn't harm her. So he sat down cross-legged, placed the round sphere in front of him, got into the right state. A strand of spiritual sense reached out and entered the sphere. A buzzing vibration rang out. The sphere emitted faint fluctuations. With her eyes closed, Lin Shang felt her spiritual sense being pulled across endless ages, sweeping past vague but powerful scenes. She realized those were all peerless inheritances. What would she see this time? As soon as she wondered, her spiritual sense suddenly halted. She looked ahead. Her vision cleared. Someone stood with their back to her, thin yet tall and graceful. Such a vast aura was overwhelming. Shocking, then. The figure slowly turned around. Lin Shang was stunned. How could it be Chen Jun? Am I dreaming? Her spiritual sense was suddenly pulled back. She grunted and woke up. What's going on? How did I see Chen Jun? Could it be because he was on my mind? No, I wasn't thinking about him. Really wasn't. So what's the deal? She felt a bit disappointed, but I quickly adjusted my mindset. If I get it, that's my good fortune. If I miss out, that's my fate. I've already obtained a quasi-emperor inheritance. I should be satisfied. While thinking about this, he replayed the scene that just happened in his mind. That figure really did have an outstanding aura. He couldn't help but want to see it again. Yeah, it seemed there was something to gain. There were naturally manifested runes on his body. It seemed extraordinary. You, on the other side, were also deep in thought. What Lin Shang actually saw was herself. That really surprised you. I hope I don't end up seeing Lin Shang. That would be pointless. Thinking about this, you didn't say much. You imitated his actions and sent a strand of divine sense into that small round sphere. A buzzing and reverberating sound appeared again. In an instant, you entered an unimaginably vast world. In front of you was an eerie darkness. The air was filled with a chilling aura. Bones were piled up everywhere around you. Dim light shone through the darkness. You felt your scalp tingle a bit. Then you heard the wailing of evil spirits. And after that, countless tormented howls. The entire world went completely dark. You looked around in confusion. You found that, in the pitch-black darkness at the edge of the sky, there were a few rows of words of varying depths, as if from a golden scripture. Suddenly, a searing pain shot into your brain. For a moment, you felt like your consciousness was being torn apart. At the very last moment of the vision, you saw a blurry figure. Suddenly, you snapped back to reality. A surge rose within your body. A mouthful of blood gushed from your lips and fell onto the small round sphere. The sphere made a sizzling sound. That crimson liquid was actually absorbed. The sphere returned to normal once again. You pondered with an ancient demeanor in your mind and quickly understood. The level of this scripture is too high. If I force it, my mind will collapse. This is my body's way of protecting itself. Now the scripture has been buried in the deepest part of my memory. I'll have to wait until my cultivation is high enough to be able to truly access it. But who was that last figure? Why would I see this scene? You frowned. Then you asked Lin Shang, is there any pattern to what you see inside that sphere? Pattern like seeing something related to yourself? Not sure. Lin Shang shook her head. What did you see? You thought to yourself. Maybe I'll tease you a bit. I saw you. For real? Could it be there's really some unusual fate between me and him? I saw him, and he actually saw me too. At that moment, Lin Shang felt a strange connection. Such a wondrous feeling. Should I tell him that what I saw was him? It's probably his future self. Oh well, forget it. A wave of girlish shyness welled up inside her. Seriously, seeing your future. The vision flickered, and then was gone. What a shame. You didn't get some incredible inheritance. You thought that scripture of mine is way more remarkable than your so-called quasi-emperor inheritance. Otherwise, my body wouldn't have reacted so strongly. So you replied, not a shame. Those 3 words sounded extraordinary to Lin Shang. They held a deep meaning. What? Does Chen Jun mean I'm even more valuable than a legendary inheritance? For a moment, he felt his heart flutter. You were taken aback, huh? Don't be so full of yourself. I wasn't talking about you. Of course you didn't say that out loud. This young man is pretty good at sweet talking. In her past life, Lin Shang was totally absorbed in cultivation. And in this aspect was just like a little girl. At this moment, she felt her face grow a bit flushed. She glanced at you, and her affection for you grew a little more. Meanwhile, you sat upright and serious, and drove on, continuing your journey, while asking, this thing can only be used once. So why do we still take it? It has other uses, like a mirror. Oh, I'll tell you later. We can't use it now anyway. Without any worries, you dashed straight toward Donghai Commandery's capital, driving recklessly. In Donghai City, you crashed straight into the stele in the center of the plaza, with a thunderous cracking sound. His face turned furious, ready to deal with this reckless person. But when he saw who stepped off the carriage, he was stunned again. Young Master Chen, oh my. Sorry about that. Brother Zhang, just go ask my parents for repair money. You slapped your forehead in frustration. Zhang Long shook his head and sighed. Why can't Chan Zhen ever shake off his spoiled ways? They'd all heard the news of you trying to break records at the Tisheng field. They thought you'd change your last name, but you're still acting like you always have. So what if you're talented? You muttered, mounting your horse again. Your carriage crashed into several more ancient buildings. Brother Jiang, don't hesitate to ask my parents for money. Don't be shy at all. Your voice echoed in the distance. And so began another disaster-filled adventure. All the things you wanted to do but couldn't before. This time you're doing them all. Just do whatever makes mom and dad the angriest. You raced home at top speed. You glanced at the old tree in the Shan household and thought, I've eyed those fruits for so long. I'm definitely picking them today. That warehouse on the back hill is off limits. But today I'm going to check it out. Great-grandpa only has one hair left on his head. Dad always told me. That's his last bit of manly pride. Today I'm going to pull it out.
After all that,
You felt absolutely exhilarated. You used to fear your parents' tag team beatdowns. But you kept causing trouble anyway. Once you'd gotten into every bit of mischief you could, you swaggered up to your parents' room. You flung open the door, standing tall and proud, shouting, Mom, Dad, I've made a mess. Father Chan was reading a book and was startled by your shout. At first he was shocked, then his face lit up with joy. My son's back. Your mother and I both heard. You actually reached 90 kilometers at the Tisheng field. That's my son, all right. Great job, that record got broken. It really brings honor to the Chan family. Mother Chan also came out with a gentle smile. The Grand Elder has spoken with the King of the Jun State and is preparing to get you direct admission to the Academy's core division. With your talent, son, you're really something. Helpless, you repeated. I've made a mess. Oh, you caused trouble? No worries, no worries. Father Chan thought, what's a little trouble compared to my son's unmatched talent? It's nothing. It's fine. I knocked over the statue in Donghai City's Pearl Square. That's nothing, just a little money. You let out a breath. Normally, this is when the beatings would start. I stood up for someone on the road and gave Ju family's 13th young master a good lesson. That's all right. We only have superficial friendliness with the Ju family anyway. I picked the fruit from the family's old tree. Father Chan felt his heart bleeding. He'd raised that tree for 300 years, planning to soak it in wine. It was just about to ripen.
he gritted his teeth. It's okay.
I've given up drinking anyway. You were stunned even, that's no big deal. And great-grandpa's last hair. I plucked it while he was asleep. Father Chan was taken aback. He doesn't know who did it, right? Of course he does. I made sure to sign my name. I, Chan Jun, always act openly and honestly. Father Chan's heart sank.
He touched his face, which had only just recovered from swelling.
That was great-grandpa's last shred of pride. And you just went and pulled it out. How long will my face stay swollen this time?
He gritted his teeth. Forget it.
It's fine, you're something else. All that, and it's still nothing. All right. I went into that warehouse you always forbid me from entering. Mother Chun was stunned. What warehouse? The one on the back hill. Father Chun stayed calm. When did I ever say you couldn't go there? Don't go twisting my words. I thought it was off limits, but I guess I misunderstood. You suddenly understood. Actually, You broke the barrier through sheer strength of will. But hearing this, Father Chan had a bad feeling. Don't tell me all those old secrets are coming out. You went inside. Yeah, I even saw what's inside with Auntie Wang. Before you could finish, Father Chan's aura surged violently. He abruptly turned to look at Mother Chan. This kid's causing so much trouble. I guess his skin is itching for a beating. Mother Chan frowned, although she sensed something was off. After hearing about what you said earlier, it did seem time for a lesson, so she put on a cold expression. In an instant, she seemed incredibly dignified, looking down at you from above. Here it comes. You took a deep breath. All this trouble, and it was worth it. Finally, it's happening. You stood your ground, eagerly gestured for them to start. Come on, Mom and Dad. Don't hold back. This is the moment. Filled with confidence, power surging all around you. Father and Mother Chan were both surprised. Does our son really think he's that strong now? They exchanged glances. Then Father Chan sprang forward and swept his feather duster at you. This feather duster was a mid-tier spiritual weapon that Father Chan had specially made. Right now, it was brimming with spiritual energy.
He swung with one powerful strike.
The force enough to send you flying. Chan Fu could almost hear your wails already. But suddenly, a metallic clang exploded in the air. It was like hitting an iron wall. Chan Fu tried to push harder, but realized he couldn't budge you at all. Looks like you really did gain a lot at the Tisheng field, Chan Fu exclaimed quietly. He spun the feather duster in his hands. In that instant, the feather duster seemed to become a sword, thrusting straight at you. This was one of the Chun family's highest-level spiritual techniques, the famous King's Sword technique. The feather duster shimmered with searing light, lunging straight toward you. Facing this attack, your expression remained calm. You extended your fist toward the sword shadow and threw an ordinary punch. A torrent of power roared and trembled. Your punch connected, and Father Chan's pupils shrank. When did our son get this strong? He drew a deep breath, shifted his technique, and as the sword shadow shattered, a misty blue shield formed in front of him. The attacks clashed with a bang. The entire house trembled. Father Chan felt an enormous force rush in, forced him back several steps. Before he could steady himself, Mother Chan was just as stunned. A rune appeared on her lips and pressed down on you. This was a sound-based magical technique. She spat out runes, and a piercing shriek exploded in your mind. You were momentarily thrown off. You lacked a higher-tier defense spell to properly counter it. A little irritated, since even a few milliseconds could be fatal in a real fight, especially since this wasn't life or death right now. You shook off the sound wave's effects, and suddenly the feather duster loomed towards you, coming down hard on your head. You took a deep breath, steadying yourself, throwing a punch with full seriousness. The punch's shadow blots out the sky and sun, as if it presses down on the entire space. Facing this punch, there's nowhere to escape. You stand tall with your chest out. The outcome is already clear. Such a terrifying sacred art. How could Dad hit me like that? From now on, Chan Jun stands up tall. A wave of excruciating pain suddenly shoots through your forehead. After taking this blow to the head, your mind instantly becomes hazy. What just happened? You forcefully turn your head to look at your father's gentle face. No way. I put everything into that punch. Its power was boundless. Then you instantly realize, the aura from your father is just way too strong. This is nothing like the origin stage aura. This is sage stage power. You whine that we agreed on fighting in the same realm, but you suddenly return to your sage stage. How could I possibly win? You black out and collapse to the ground, passing out completely. A single strike from the sage stage. Honestly, it's lucky you didn't die on the spot. Father Chan looks at you lying on the ground and kicks you twice more. Can't spar with him in the same realm anymore in the future. That's a bit of a pity. Mother Chan nods in agreement, her eyes filled with shock. I have the potential of an emperor. We need to find him a strict master for some real discipline. When you wake up from your coma, it's already 3 days later. You sit up on your bed in confusion. Takes a while before you come to your senses. You then notice your whole body is wrapped in bandages. Everything hurts everywhere. You sigh heavily. A maid with an exaggerated figure walks in carrying medicine. Young master, you're awake. Zhao Wen, how long was I out? A full 3 days. Wow, my father's really ruthless. You touch your forehead. It still hurts a lot. Master said, young master. You should go see him when you wake up. See him for what? I'm not quite sure myself. The maid frowned slightly. Seems to be something about the demon sect. They've been talking about it the last few days. Apparently, they unexpectedly found traces of the demon sect's holy son. All the outstanding young talents near our principality went out to hunt him down. Those who call themselves the righteous don't bully the weak with the strong. So this time, even though it's the holy son of the demon sect, only the younger generation was sent. None of the elders took action. You're stunned. What does this have to do with me? The maid hesitates for a moment. Master said you waste time and fool around all day. Only cause trouble for the family. And with no young talent to raise up, you'll never carry the mantle in the future. So this time, taking down the demon sect heretic counts as earning credit for the family. Eliminating demon sect heretics gets you a reward when you report it to the Eastern Zhou King. You wave your hand dismissively? Not interested. Has nothing to do with me. But the master said, if you don't go, he'll make you lie there for another 3 days. You get a sudden jolt and spring up from bed like a carp. At this moment on Mount our whole group looks totally disheveled as we scatter in all directions. Yet our eyes are all shining with excitement. Young Lord, the Eastern Zhou drama is unfolding. Almost all the prodigies among the third-generation disciples have gathered. The demon prince stays calm. Excellent. Are the preparations about complete? Don't worry, young lord. No one's getting away. That place doesn't have any other mysteries. It's way too easy to trap them there. Good, the demon prince nods. I've been pretending to be weak for so long. All to catch them all in one net. There's no room for mistakes this time. All Eastern Zhou dramatic sect disciples taking part in the hunt think the demon prince has used up all his tricks. But they don't realize he's been holding back on purpose. It's a classic trap, luring the enemy in, leaving them no chance to escape. Thinking about this makes his neck tingle. He can't help but sneer. A few days later, there will be a gap in the third-generation disciples of the Eastern Zhou drama. He's absolutely confident. He could fight 100 on his own. Even face 1,000 and not flinch. Those losers dare call themselves prodigies. They can't even stand a single blow in front of me. Those like Qingyang sect, Mingjian sect, Chun family, Zhou family, all of them, are just trash. He was only pretending to be weak before, just to keep them from running. Eastern Zhou drama really doesn't live up to its name. The younger generation is such a disappointment. They deserve to be eliminated and become nothing but dust in history. The only regret is they didn't attract enough people. All the demon sect disciples around sacred sect Yongxing shout in unison. We've held back for so long. Pretended we didn't know and retreated in fake defeat. Let those idiots chase us. But pretty soon, we'll finally be able to hold our heads high.